Yo, what's up, you guys? Question. What do you do if you're in a lot of debt and need a good chunk of money, like right away, but then reason and your senses tell you that it's impossible? And if you're feeling that right now, then yo, this is going to straight up encourage you. All right, let's do this. In his book, The Law and the Promise, Neville Goddard talks about a guy who ran a small business that was solely owned. And there was a time when it seemed like his venture was going to end in failure, okay? Because for months the sales were down. And he found himself, in his words, in a financial jam, along with thousands of other small businesses during the country's minor recession. And it sucked because he was badly in debt and needed at least $3,000 almost immediately. In fact, even his auditors advised him to close his door to try to salvage whatever he could, which was definitely an option, right? And would make the most sense. But nah, dude, he didn't roll that way. And instead, he turned to his imagination for the solution. You see, the thing is, he knew about Neville's teaching, but never really tried to solve any problems using this sort of method. So he was kind of skeptical about the whole idea that imagination creates reality. But he was also desperate. And it was desperation that forced him to put it to the test. And here's what he did. Ready? He imagined his office receiving $4,000 unexpectedly in remittances due, where his money would have to come from new orders since his accounts receivable were practically non-existent, which actually seemed far-fetched. Why? Because he hasn't even made that much money in sales during the previous 4 months or more. However, he kept imagining himself for 3 days receiving $4,000. Check this out. Early the fourth morning, a customer he hadn't heard from in months called him on the phone, asking him to meet up in person. And he was told to bring a quotation that was previously given to him for machinery that was needed by his factory. So the quotation was months old, you guys. And so he dug it out of his files and didn't waste any time going to the guy's office that day. He wrote out the order, which he signed, but still, he couldn't see how this transaction could help him with the situation of needing $3,000 right away. Because the equipment usually took around 4 to 6 months for factory delivery. And plus, the customer didn't have to pay for it until it was delivered. So in other words, based on reason alone, he was still screwed. Anyway, he thanked them for the order and got up to leave. And then, ready for this? His customer stopped him at the door and handed him a check. Guess for what amount? It was a check for a little over $4,000. Dope! See, the guy said he wanted to pay for the merchandise on the spot, in advance, for tax purposes, and was like, "You don't mind?" And he was like, "No, I don't mind." And then he realized at that moment what just happened when he took the check into his hands. Within 3 days, just 3 days, don't overlook this, his imaginal act had done for him what he hadn't been able to do in months, folks, in months of desperate financial shuffling. And it clicked for him because he said he finally knew that imagination could have brought $40,000 into his business just as easily as $4,000. Boom. Dope stuff. Now, was it all a coincidence? I don't think so. Think about it. It was during the country's recession. And even he thought his imaginal act was a stretch because remember, he hasn't made that kind of money in months. And the customer paid in advance when he could have just waited, right? Listen, you guys. It was his imaginal act that shaped what he desired. Straight up. All right, real talk. So, how much money do you need at the moment? Okay? How much do you need? Seriously. Now, whatever the amount is, here's what I want you to do. First off, I want you to stop reasoning your way into struggle, into poverty. Stop expecting the worst. And second, instead, I want you to imagine. I want you to imagine. What would you do? What would you say? How would you act if what you want is already yours? And feel its reality. You gotta feel it. That's the secret. And then here's what's gonna happen. Your imagination, which is the potter, will shape this world of clay into the end you desire. And you will get what you believe. Yeah. Alrighty guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and the bell right next to it to be notified of my next video. I'm pumping more of these out every single week so you don't want to miss them. And if you're listening via podcast, I'd really appreciate a review. It gets more people to discover my work and of course help spread this message. And yo, don't forget to register for my free online training that'll seriously help you start manifesting the life you really want right now. So check it out. The link's in the description. Like I always say, more's coming. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.